Congress, they were really zigzagging between preparation for the Congress and preparation for the duty. Latvia, you can't even describe their greatness. Russia, the U.S., Russia. It's a tent that was really made before the duty. They really made their biggest efforts to unite all the tents and give a lot of power and inspiration. Ra'anana, Petach Tikva, tent number 8, and U.S. Midwest, tent number 14. And now we're going to hear our great friends from Italy.
Hello, friends. Can you hear me? Good. Okay. First of all, thanks for the opportunity to speak here. And I have been asked to talk about this new coming Congress and my impressions. My impression is that with the last Congress in America, we reached a new level of connection. But together with this new level of connection has been revealed also a new level of our egoism, a bigger egoism, an egoism that is more complex and is more clever to find excuses not to connect. But on the other hand, I've never felt the friends so close to one to each other, and so many of them willing to work so hard to build this kli of bestowal, this web of love that we are building between our point in the hearts. And so I want to say that this Congress will be a success because we won't have to wait until the end of July to discover it. It is happening now, and it is happening every day of this fantastic preparation together. L'chaim, friend.
קבוצת מוסקבה, בבקשה.
Moscow, please.
Москва.
И предстал Израиль перед горой, что означает «все, как один».
Ba'asulam, the Arvut. It is written, and there Israel encamped before the mountain, which our sages interpret as one man in one heart. This is because each and every person from the nation completely removed himself from self-love and wanted only to benefit his friend, as we have shown above regarding the meaning of the commandment, love thy friend as thyself. It turns out that all the individuals in the nation have come together and become one heart and one man, for only then were they qualified to receive the Torah. And now we would like to ask you a question, a workshop question, but before that, we want to divide this question into two stages. First of all, write it down, write the question. Afterwards, think about it, and then try to feel it. And after that, begin to actually answer it. So first of all, let us read the question.
Workshop question. How can I help the friend feel what is connection? Again. How can I help the friend feel what is connection? We write it down, we think about it, and then we talk.
עוד שאלה, איך אני יכול לעזור לחבר להרגיש?
כל עוד לא טעמתי, לא יכול באמת להתחלק עם
סליחה, ענות על זה גם? כן, אנחנו יודעים.
איך אני יכול לעזור לחבר?
How can I help a friend feel what is connection? The first thing that came to my mind is to give an example, to set an example, to mutual concern, something that's important to me and equally important to the friend. But then I thought about the friend and I said, if I see a friend that I have a common concern with, it doesn't let me feel connection, it makes me see how connection influences the friend. So perhaps an actual activity or action of mutual concern to each friend according to his need. Maybe that's how you can set an example of connection.
Amazing. I also wrote that you need to reach a state of concern and example, but the example needs to be that of the greatness of the goal, to talk about connection. It's like talking about love or talking about the vessel of bestowal or the Creator. Just try doing that, and you can convey this to a person by example, by the importance of the goal that you show.
Yeah, and even if I don't feel this connection, at least I'll pray for him that he will feel it and want it, and not escape from this point, but be focused on this search for what connection really is. What else do we have to search for? And to love it and appreciate the Creator for sending him the question about what is connection.
I can be an environment to that friend who's seeking this connection, perhaps to increase his importance for it, to help him generate these conditions necessary for the light to supply him with that feeling.
Amen. Hello
friends, we remind you that we do not use cell phones during the lesson with the exception of friends on duty who have received authorization to do so. Anyone who wants to ask a question, please stand up, hold the microphone close to your mouth and speak clearly. From the words of the Rav. We have to pray to the Creator. I say it with all seriousness. The 10 prays together for a few minutes and asks for what they think is important for them to receive. It is important for them to receive these discernments and feel these things and receive strength for it. Turn to the Creator. Sit together for a few minutes and pray. Each one quietly, by himself. This is very important.
Shalom.
The topic of today's lesson is Work in Faith Above Reason. You're welcome to enter our website, Kabbalah.tv, where you can watch the lesson and also send us questions during the lesson, which may be asked here. And again, the topic for today's lesson is Work in Faith Above Reason.
Work above reason. There are 2 levels, as we've been learning lately. The level of this world, where we act within reason, according to our intellect, our reason, our rationality, and it's all according to our feeling, our decision, according to what we have. It's called the animate degree, the degree of a beast. It acts according to what exists in its desire to receive. And there is a higher level, a second floor, so to speak, where there is and works and controls a desire to bestow. The desire to bestow appears to us on top of our will to receive. We don't know what is the desire to bestow itself, because it's the Creator, it's His nature. But how do we acquire the nature of the Creator, the desire to bestow? By me, with my will to receive, I work according to what the Creator wants. It's called God willing. What does He want? He wants to bestow upon others. Therefore, with my will to receive, I have to do all kinds of exercises to bestow upon others. Meaning that my will to receive will work in this framework where I bestow upon others. But how is this possible? We ask for the strength from above. Of course we can't. We ask for the strength from above. So the importance of the Creator will be, to me, more than my own importance. Very simple. If it's all a question of importance. If the importance of the Creator is greater than the importance of myself, I have this feeling, then I will do everything that He wants and that is good for Him, and will not take into consideration any need or desire or purposes of mine. On the contrary, I'll even be pleased that I can place His needs higher than mine. And I will try with all my might that I was given, that my beast was given, my will to receive. I'll use it for His sake. We have to picture these states, build them inside. And in this way, as we gradually means through many efforts, we can, in this way, come to a feeling, a state where a power comes to us from above that does this to us. Before this power comes and shines for us and dresses in us the power of bestowal, before it comes, we don't know what it is. When it dresses in us, we suddenly begin to see that our relationship, our attitude toward others, toward the Creator, has changed. The importance has changed. All of a sudden, the Creator, His situation, doing something for Him, has become more important than doing for myself all the time, and caring for myself and for my situation. Then I have these two levels inside of me. My own level, which I feel, which is what I want and think and understand, like everyone else, and a higher level called faith above reason, bestowal above reception, the importance of the Creator greater than the importance of the created being. In this way, a person begins to feel, he still doesn't acquire, but he begins to feel the next state, the spiritual degree, which in this way, it is designed, fashioned before him, within him, gradually. There are many. It's intermittent, more or less. It's like a cat attempting to jump. So if it's going to jump, so it checks yes, no, until it makes the right calculation, and then performs the jump. So are we. But this yes, no, we have to do these exercises in society, everyone together, as much as we can in every possible way. This is spiritual work already, because it gives us this action called faith above reason, or the power of bestowal above the power of reception. This is how we build the second degree, the upper world. This upper force, which will give us the power to, the strength to bestow, is called Creator. We have to fashion it, because there is no Creator without a created being. And then we are called only created beings. Only then are we called created beings. Before that, we're called, they're all as beasts. And we will settle in this first spiritual degree. We have several stages in acquiring this first spiritual degree. There's seemingly personal work, when a person individually tries to make efforts, then he understands that alone it's not going to help him. Like that cat that wants to jump somewhere far needs some data, needs to know where it is, where it's jumping, with what powers. So likewise, we begin to detect, to see that without society we can't. But actually, to the extent that I connect with others, I put together this upper degree, and the more I work for them, by this I check to what extent I can really think about the friends, about the Creator, and then from the love of man to the love of God. This is how we advance. So this is basically our work that we have to get into. It's okay if we don't feel it. Schematically, as a drawing, so to speak, as a sketch, 2 levels. When the second floor is as clear to us as the first floor, I use my will to receive for my benefit. That's the first floor. I use my will to receive in order to serve the will to receive of others or of the Creator. That's the second floor, where when I'm already in bestowal, if I serve others, and then it's bestowal above the force of reception. This is how I build my upper world. And then in the gap between the 2 degrees, we begin to discover spiritual phenomena, which truly are above our reason, our mind, our strength, our desire. This is already called a free land. This is how we acquire spirituality. Let's read what they wrote for us, the great ones, and accordingly we will go. Let's go.
Excerpt 18 from Obash Volume 3, article Sanctification of the Month. A person must take upon himself the burden of the kingdom of heaven on the lowest quality and say about it that to him, even that state, the lowest that can be, meaning one that is entirely above reason, when he has no support from the mind, and the feeling that he can build his foundations on it. At that time, he is seemingly standing between heaven and earth and has no support. For then, everything is above reason. Then, he says that the Creator sent him this state, where he is in utter lowliness, since the Creator wants him to take upon himself the burden of the kingdom of heaven in this manner of lowliness. At that time, he takes upon himself, because he believes above reason that the situation he is in now comes to him from the Creator, meaning that the Creator wants him to see the lowest possible state in the world. And yet, he must say that he believes in the Creator in all manners. This is regarded as him making an unconditional surrender. That is, a person does not say to the Creator, if you give me a good feeling, to feel that the whole earth is full of His glory, I'm willing to believe. Rather, when he has no reason and no sensation of spirituality, he cannot accept the burden of the kingdom of heaven and observe the Torah and commandments. Rather, he must accept the kingdom of heaven unconditionally.
Questions? Yes, over there in the back.
Ultimately, are we working for others or for the Creator?
What's the difference?
If there is no difference, it means that I'm the only created being.
Let's say there's only you.
So, to relate to reality that way, I am the created being and everything outside of me is the Creator and others?
It's all how it seems to you, because in the end, how do you know? There's me, I'll even draw it. Me and others. Right? That's it. That's clear who it is. It's my ego. My egoistic desire. My world. My world. And there is the other. That's the Creator, friends, the world. This world, that world. Yes? But on this first level, I work seemingly for my own benefit. For my own benefit. And here it is for the benefit of others.
So I need to constantly try to stabilize in such a way where, or orient myself in such a way where I forget about myself.
I can do this only on condition that light will come to me. Well, a force, special force. Will come to me from above, influence me, and give me the ability to rise from degree to degree. On this condition, I will acquire the desire to bestow upon others, to be in a state where the importance, this is importance, of the other, the one who is outside of me. The importance of others is greater than the importance of myself. It is only through this force, this upper force, the reforming light. So the nature of the Creator, the level of the Creator, is the second level, right? And I am created on the first level.
Can I ask another question?
Yes.
So yesterday, the will to receive to myself was discussed a lot, but with the same breath, we said that it's not about corporeal desires. So,
right. We're not talking about corporeal desires. When I wrote my world here, it means a person who wants to rise to the next degree, but understands and feels how his ego is holding him holding him down in the first degree. It's not just people who are alive, who are living without any goal of ascending or doing something with themselves. It's about a person who understands and knows and feels that he is on the first floor and must climb up to the second floor. He determines that this first floor is, it's called Malchut, and this second floor is called Bina.
So I take the spiritual will to receive within me and I conduct restrictions on it, and there I try to draw the light to work above it. I don't relate to the corporeal, I just ascend to the spiritual desire.
Yes, less than that is a beast. Less than that is the degree of a beast. We're not talking about that. This is just a physical body existing according to its needs.
Thank you.
Those who learn the wisdom of Kabbalah and want to rise from this world to feel the upper world, to work on the degree of bestowal, love of others, or in short, where the Creator is, this is what we're talking about. He is on the first floor. Okay? Yes.
We've talked about the fact that we're divided into 2 degrees. So according...
What 2 degrees? 1 and 2 or 0, 1, 2? Let's say this is 0. Beast is 0.
0 is a new thing.
No, it's not new. It's just a living body, a person who lives according to the desires he was born with.
Okay, but you gave an introduction at the beginning of the lesson. There is this world, my own benefit, this is called 1.
1.
And the importance of the Creator for others is 2.
Okay, yes.
And all of that, where does it exist?
Inside a person's desire, like everything else. Everything happens inside our desires.
Okay, and what causes you to suddenly live in the, well, that your desire changes?
Oh, the point in the heart. Oh, you have to draw it. Fine. On this level, there is the point in the heart.
The point in the heart, does it agree with the self, with the ego, with my world?
It is a part of God above, meaning it comes to us from the desire of others, hangs down this way to us, and is in contrast with all of our desires, and this is what pulls us back.
It belongs to the 2nd degree.
Yes.
All right.
It's a reshimo, reflection, a recollection from the kli that was once whole and remains within the broken kli.
Why will importance cause me to suddenly stop this whole work of for my own benefit and move towards the benefit of the Creator and others?
Because the reforming light works on us. Why does he do it? Because within us there is a spark. So the light works on the spark. Yes, give it to him.
Rav, if I have the importance of others, it's not that I continue working under the program of the... Well, am I not working under the will to receive?
I don't know what you regard as importance of others. Importance of your kids, your relatives, your parents, I don't know who, what. Importance of others, from where does it stem?
Let's say the importance of the friends in the 10. If I'll feel in my will to receive, or I don't know exactly where I feel the importance of others that you've mentioned there, I'll continue working within my ego, no?
Well, of course, for now you're working in the ego. Even when you rise up to the second floor, you still do it through the ego. But gradually, it changes. All of a sudden, you start feeling that giving to friends and to the Creator becomes to you more important than receiving for yourself. An opportunity to give becomes more important than an opportunity to receive. An opportunity to think about others becomes important and more precious than thinking of yourself. Where does it come from? What, am I going nuts? It's crazy. The influence of the light gives you this state, and you cannot resist it. It comes by force. And then you become like an angel.
Will it be felt outside of my ego, this calculation? Because if something is important to me, regardless of where it comes from, let's say the light, or
it is still inside your ego, and you feel within your ego that the other, someone, something, a creator, let's say creator, suddenly you begin to feel this higher force in such a way that this is more important than I. You have this idea, so to speak, that's more important than anything.
Oh, Ken.
Oh, yes, give it to them.
В отрывке сказано о самом низком состоянии, ниже которого быть не может.
In the excerpt, it mentions the lowest state, that there can be nothing lower.
Yes.
What is that state? Is that the recognition of evil or despair? What is it exactly?
Despair. It could be despair, but you just understand that you, with your nature, are in a situation where only thinking of yourself is what your own nature obligates. And he says that this is the lowest, cheapest, worst thing there is.
Каким образом человек, находясь в таком состоянии, может принять на себя власть небес?
In what manner, when a person is in that state, in what manner can he take upon himself the burden of the kingdom of heaven?
One has nothing to do with the other. This is my current state, and I see it, I judge, and at the same time, I want to emerge from it. It all depends. We need to understand that the wisdom of Kabbalah tells us about states we have to undergo, experience. We experience these states under the influence of the reforming light. The light works. As it works, I have a desire to receive with many reshimot, recollections. And then I, with my will to receive, begin to feel something. All kinds of states. Relations between the states. I, the upper one, I, the friends, I with myself, with others, with this world, with the upper light, as it shines on the Rishimo, it evokes in the Rishimo all kinds of things. I can't determine if to feel this way or that way, to decide this way or that way. It's all determined by the upper light, by the Rishimo. I have to understand that what I feel is a result of my will to receive with the Rishimo and the upper light that works on me. That's it. I am a result. The result. But when I, as a clear result, this is why it's called a created being. You understand? It's something. It's a piece of rock, raw piece of rock. That's how I'm made, and that's how I'm made every moment. But because I was made this way, from this state, I can advance by myself. How? Through the environment. If not through the environment, then I do all kinds of loops in my own place. and nothing changes. I need an environment. Through the environment, I draw reforming light. To the extent that I work with them in bestowal, a little bit in bestowal, even if it's material or physical bestowal, the way we do it. But by that we invoke the light. The light works, and then I change. It's very simple. We have to distinguish. I cannot change my situation unless through my work with the environment. Baal writes it. Rabash writes about it. Now, as the light works, it gives me a certain state. A light shines on the Reshimo and brings the Reshimo to a certain state. It brings a new state. From that state, I can't do anything again other than my work with others. As a result of it, the upper light awakens once again and influences once again. This way, through the influence of the environment, through my work with the environment, I influence the upper light. It shines on my Reshimo, on me, on the will to receive with the Reshimo, and brings the desire with the Reshimo to the next state. In the next state, I have only one option: to work with the environment in order to evoke the upper light, which works on me again and awakens within me the next state. This is how we work. It's called Israel. The Torah and the Creator are one, or from the love of man to the love of God. But these are the actions. I am below, above is the upper light, and my work with the group is in between. You can read the freedom, the Arvut. All of these articles talk about it. Yes?
Another question, more accurate perhaps. I was confused. At first, a person gets the opportunity to walk above reason, with faith above reason, and only from there he reaches the greatness of the Creator?
With what force will he go above reason? A person gets the feeling of the greatness of the Creator, and it comes as a result of all kinds of efforts. 10, 15 years might go by because it's an accumulative thing, until it accumulates and accumulates and accumulates through the efforts, the influences of the light, until it comes. And a person begins to feel the existence of the Creator in the world, but in such a way that there is such a force. And toward that force, he has a certain attitude. This force becomes important, and then a person understands, who am I? Will to receive. It's not me. He sympathizes with the point, and the will to receive is something he was given. It's in him. But now another force appears, called Creator. And the importance of the Creator has become greater than the importance of the will to receive. And the Reshimo is in between, just like here. Here you have the Reshimo. Let's draw it here, in between. On one hand, you have the will to receive. On the other hand, let's say it pulls or draws the desire to bestow. And then it begins to work in this way. But the importance of the Creator is what is first revealed in a person. From this, he begins to conquer the first spiritual degree. Okay? Yes?
I need to want to rise to the next degree, the second degree? Do I need to want to see the friends there? Or do I need to want the friends to rise there? What do I need to want exactly?
Let's speak in a simple and practical manner. I want to bestow upon the Creator, to bestow. Once I establish myself in this, and I understand that now my desire suddenly pushes me to bestow upon the Creator, just as previously I thought about myself, now I normally think about the Creator. There are all kinds of times. So when I want to bestow upon the Creator, I search how, by what, and then I begin to understand by learning about Him, by bringing others closer to Him, by helping humanity come to Him. He likes that, and this is why I do it. In other words, when it's written that we have to come from the love of man to the love of God, to me, the love of man is also because I do this for the sake of the Creator.
Ken.
Yes.
The excerpt talks about a person being between heaven and earth and having no support in his mind or heart to do the work of the Creator. So, how in that state do you continue if you have support neither in your mind nor in your heart?
We're talking about a state where one receives an illumination from above, which provides him with the importance of the Creator, temporarily perhaps, which is greater than his own importance. I was talking about such a state where the importance of the Creator becomes greater than his own importance. I'm talking to you about a practical state, and not something that it seems to us that we can derive from the text or something like that. This is a state that we need to reach. I suddenly feel that the importance of the Creator is above everything. Like a little baby that I'm concerned with, I care for, and I don't care about the rest of the world. The whole world exists only in order to help me give everything to this baby, everything it needs. His desire determines the whole world and all my life. That's how it is.
Good morning. What am I supposed to search to serve? The friend's will to receive or the point in the heart?
You'll discover this by the illumination of the upper light. It can be said simply that the connection between you, the Creator likes. The more you come closer to one another, by that you annul your will to receive. It cannot be entirely cancelled, but only its importance. We're talking only about importance. The other way around, the will to receive and the will to bestow only keep growing. So you'll connect more and more, and by your connection, you'll be able to reach a state where the upper light is revealed in all its particular details, and this is called the revelation of the Creator to the created being. Yes.
The transition between the first floor and the second floor. This is the mahsom, the barrier, basically.
All right, never mind what we talked about.
But it's important for me to understand the process. It's an emotional process. It's important to understand it.
Call it the mahsom. So?
It was important to me.
No, it's not important. I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because right now you're carrying with you a few years where you heard about the Mahsom, you're carrying with you this impression and it may be entirely incorrect. Why should you rely on what was before? Erase it, always.
Okay.
Ken.
Yes.
Shalom Rav.
Hello, Rav. I wanted to ask, I understand that I'm a complete egoist, and I and my friends and the environment, we all understand it, and we all want to have importance of others. We pray.
Yes, for what? For what?
Well, the importance of others?
Yes.
Well, to connect.
For what?
Why connect? In order to achieve life's goal.
Well, let's say.
We want to achieve life's goal.
All right, continue.
Okay, so suddenly we all feel the ego like a wall, a disturbance in the prayer. Sometimes you feel a friend, sometimes you don't. So how do I know when the upper light is working on us, the friends and the environment? Thank you.
First of all, it takes time. We need to work many years within the society and perform various actions. But it's not that we're working in order to connect and not in order to love one another and others. This needs to be directed only towards the Creator. We want to discover the Creator. We want to feel Him as important as the first, as superior, the upper one, and to that we aspire. Him, spirituality, connection, everything you have. Our goal is to discover the Creator. The Creator is revealed within us as the power of bestowal. That's His property, quality. So we're preparing a place for Him to be revealed in. And the place is between us, between you and your friend. When you yearn for one another and are making sure to build such a state between you, such a condition or an area where you annul yourself, he annuls himself, you want to feel his desires, he wants to feel your desires, you're beginning to build new connections, unearthly connections, not of this world. You're attempting it, and the more you attempt it, according to that effort, the reforming light affects you and establishes such a relation towards the teaching of bestowal, the quality of bestowal, the Creator. You begin to feel that the Creator is important. At first, you feel that, what is important? Who's important? You begin to feel that there is something called the force, the power of bestowal, and this power becomes important to me more than my own power of reception. And what I want to do is something for its benefit, for its sake. If I have the opportunity to do something for His benefit, I feel glad. From where does it come? From the influence of the light. But you need to prepare such a place between you, which the upper light will bestow to affect in order to discover the Creator, the power of bestowal.
I want to, but I have this wall in front of me.
No, nothing is obstructing you.
I feel that my ego is a wall and it hides Him.
So you pray.
So we pray.
Well, good, it's a good sign. If you want to connect and you see that it's impossible, this is the recognition of evil, and then you need to pray. The Creator is giving you this feeling that it's not working out. So you need to turn to me. Without me, you won't manage.
No, we do it with friends every day.
Yes. A few years more.
Thank you very much.
The main thing is to enter this process, and always as an ox to the wheel, to the grindstone, a donkey to the load, constantly, and then it happens. We're working on creation. It's creation, you understand? With the two primary forces in nature, not this world, it's not about that at all, but the nature in general, the general nature. And with these two forces we begin to work. So you need to understand a little bit more what is this whole system compared to us, until we begin to activate it a little bit in order to affect us in response. Tons.
What does it mean to do good to others?
To do good unto others means to do to them the same good that the Creator would have done, what the Creator wants. It's not what the friend wants. I'm talking about where we're coming closer to the spiritual degree, where the friend and the Creator become seemingly as one. I'm not asking the friend what he wants. I feel the friend becomes, for me, let's just not misunderstand this, he becomes to me a means in order to bestow contentment upon the Creator. When I bestow upon the friend, through him I bestow contentment upon the Creator. So here I need to make a calculation. In what way, in what can I bestow to the Creator through the friend?
What does it mean, importance of the Creator?
The importance of the Creator is a feeling which awakens in us through the influence of the reforming light. It cannot be explained. It's like your child, your son is important to you. How is he important to you in relation to or compared to the whole world? First of all, you think about him and nobody else. Let's say, God forbid, something happens, some disaster. First of all, you're thinking, what about him? This means that he's more important than everyone.
Many people in the world think that they are doing good to others.
And that's what they think, according to what they think is good.
But it's not what we're talking about.
First of all, you need to feel, to sense the Creator, what's good for Him, and to use others in order to bestow upon the Creator. Before that, you don't know what good means.
How do you demand the light? In the drawing, you have light.
Yes. How do you demand the light to influence you?
Yes.
Ask for connection, ask for the influence of the light, ask for the revelation of the Creator in order to be the bestower.
Thank you.
Moskva.
Denis Lasimkov is interested in the question, is it possible to shorten the accumulative process of 10 to 15 years? Or does this change from one friend to another? And how can I help a friend advance toward it?
I don't know. I heard this from the Rabash. He told me, and later perhaps he regretted it on one hand, but also he knew on the other hand that I won't go anywhere. That Baal Sulam, when he found the book of Etz Chaim, the tree of life, with the Rabbi from Pulsov who came to visit him, came to visit his teacher. So he found this book at his house, and he found that it details the worlds, the purpose of life, all of that. And it was by chance that the Rabbi from Pulsov went out, and he looked over his library searching for books. And then the Rabbi from Pulsov came back and he said, no, put that book back in place. It's not for you. But he knew that it exists now. Just imagine to yourselves, an 18-year-old, 19-year-old guy, and he didn't know this book even exists. He was so immersed through his education in the Talmud. But he knew now where to search and where to find, and he bought this book. And here Rabash said, but he didn't know that it's going to take him 20 years to begin to attain what's written in the book. Do you understand? Right. So, and I shouted, what? 20 years? And he was, no. He said, it can be less, it can be less. was sorry for me, you could say. That's such consolation. No, but truly it takes years. It may be, I don't know, it may be that in our times it's going to be shortened because, there are many people, it's the last generation, and it may be that the times are changing, but still it takes years and years. The first degree, as we've read, is the most important one, because it's a true revolution within the person. It's an alteration of his foundations, of his substance, essence, and so it's difficult to acquire it, to begin to work on it, to begin to become accustomed to it. It's simply to be born into a new world with completely new conditions, new values, forces. And so, what can you do? It takes time. And everything, we know it's Shoresh Aleph Bet Gimel Daled, and so on and so forth, many details. The reality is an integral one, and until it's completely built up, it takes time, and then it is established within the person as a new feeling, a new understanding. Yes.
You said that first of all we have to feel what is good for the Creator and accordingly bestow upon the friend.
The first sensation is such that suddenly the Creator becomes, it's not that I actually feel Him, I feel that there is such a thing in existence, and it is more important than myself and the whole world also. That's the first sensation.
So you have to...
And it is called the beginnings of faith.
So first you have to feel the importance and what is good for the Creator and accordingly bestow upon others, the friend.
Yes.
So what should I give to the friend?
No, that's later on. Let's let it go. It's enough for us to come to this first perception, this first sensation. No, I'm not going to talk about anything beyond that. To confuse you, it's not... Yes, it's not a commandment to confuse.
Several students from the U.S. are asking the same question about leaning toward the second state. They're asking, is this something that comes and goes, and how can you keep it?
It doesn't come and go as do the feelings of this world. It's, relatively speaking, remains existing, but more or less, but it remains. It remains. Is that it? All right, let's... or you're asking me? Oh. All right, read it again.
Again, excerpt number 18, Sanctification of the Month. A person must take upon himself the burden of the kingdom of heaven on the lowest quality, and say about it that to him, even that state, the lowest that can be, meaning one that is entirely above reason, when he has no support from the mind and the feeling that he can build its foundations on it, at that time he is seemingly standing between heaven and earth and has no support. For then everything is above reason. Then a person says that the Creator sent him this state, where he is in utter lowliness, since the Creator wants him to take upon himself the burden of the kingdom of heaven in this manner of loneliness. At that time, he takes upon himself, because he believes above reason, that the situation he is in now comes to him from the Creator, meaning that the Creator wants him to see the lowest possible state in the world. And yet, he must say that he believes in the Creator in all manners. This is considered that he has made an unconditional surrender. That is, a person does not say to the Creator, "If you give me a good feeling, to feel that the whole earth is full of His glory, I will believe." Rather, when he has no reason and no sensation of spirituality, he cannot accept the burden of the kingdom of heaven and observe the Torah and mitzvot, commandments. Rather, he must accept the kingdom of heaven unconditionally.
And there is a problem in asking here, asking questions, because usually you ask about something that you feel to some extent, and here there is no feeling of this. Yes, Niv.
What's the first step in our work?
The importance of the Creator, which is attained through the importance of the society. That's all of it. There are no other problems. In general, the whole spiritual ladder, all the states that I go through, all depend upon the importance of the Creator for me.
So the importance of the Creator should come to me through the importance of society?
I work in the society in order to attain the importance of the Creator. The Creator is our goal.
And what is the work in society?
It's a means. It's an instrument or a kli, a vessel. We work in order to reconstitute the kli, bring it back into completion. What for? So as to make room for the Creator to be revealed, and by that to bestow contentment upon Him.
And the main work in society is to obtain the importance of society?
No, the importance of the society is on the way. What do you mean? Is it the main? The main work of the society is to connect together through the Creator. We're here. It's not a goal, but a means to connect us, to bring us into being one kli, and according to the quality of this one kli, the one light is clothed in it, which is the Creator, which is clothed in the created being. The 10 is as the created being, and the Creator is the light, and then they connect and achieve adhesion.
Ken.
Yes.
Ken, no, Ken, no.
Yes, Mister.
Shalom, Rav.
Hello, Rav. I wanted to ask a question. What is lowliness? What does it mean by that?
Lowliness means that one sees that there are several kinds of lowliness. Lowliness where I myself cannot perform any action other than to work correctly with the lack that is awakened within me. Lowliness is where I'm in the will to receive, which is truly lowly and meant only to show how opposite I am to completion, how contrary I am to bestowal in the Creator. And this is determined by me. It's not that someone tells me this. The light shines, and I see that in comparison to it, my own qualities are lowly. And it's not about the qualities I have in this world in relation to people, but in relation to the quality of bestowal. I am in lowliness.
But it becomes a second nature. So it's connected to outside the system, outside the group.
Yes, normally we don't consider anything outside of the society. There, the group there, we need to behave as everyone else. I go out of here, I go back to the world outside, my workplace and family. I behave in such a way where they feel comfortable and I feel comfortable.
But when you acquire this nature, it happens on the outside as well.
What nature?
Of this lowliness.
From outside? No. Outside I behave with everyone as do everyone else. Perhaps a little better. But as is customary. Like every other citizen. I don't show outwardly that I'm any different.
Thank you very much.
All right? Yes.
In this process of obtaining the importance of the Creator, is there something that the light doesn't do, that you need to do?
The light does everything as the active force, the only force that actually does something in creation, because the will to receive in itself is inanimate, inert. It does not move. It's substance, matter, which there's nothing in it. But on the condition that the light illuminates upon it, there are many different kinds of illuminations, mikifim, surrounding lights and inner lights and so on. And by their effect, the will to receive is in motion. And there are movements where it thinks belong to it, but also that's not the case. It's the light affecting it. There are times where it wants to move, so it asks for the power to do this, understanding, and so on. But the will to receive in itself is like a stone, it's like a rock. It cannot move.
So it turns out that everyone's a rock. Everyone is rocks, and according to how the light works on you, this is how the rock is activated.
Yes, to begin with, a black point in the white light, which the Creator created, and this black point has no capacity to move on its own, no energy. It doesn't even know how to receive. It's just raw, primordial matter. And it begins to develop, and then by its development it acquires the qualities of the light, and from the qualities of the light which it acquires, its will to receive grows. It's an interesting thing. The more I absorb the qualities of the light, the properties of bestowal, I grow in reception, meaning that I acquire the power of the light, not the qualities of the light. Let's say you bestow upon some person, and he sees that you're bestowing to him. He sees that he can receive more and more and more from you. Try to give someone 100 shekels, another 100 shekels, and he'll come to you and ask, where can I have another 100? Meaning, by your giving, you build within him his own will to receive, and so the light affects the will to receive and constructs it. When it has finished constructing it in the 4 phases of direct light, then you begin to work with it.
But everything that's in the will to receive, except for that first desire, we can't even speak about it. It's like a philosophy of a discernment. It's a bit disconnected from reality. It's the initial matter, and except for that, the rest comes from the will to receive. From the light. From the light that bestows on that point of a desire. That's why, except for that point of the desire, the Creator didn't create anything. That is creation. It is opposite of the light. The rest comes from the light. And that oppositeness that's in there, that also comes from the light, and it develops that point until it becomes similar to the light, but opposite. Yes?
So, what do you do in this entire process? If you're a rock and the light influences you?
There's not us yet. There's no us. When do we start speaking about us? After all the cascading from above downward, after all the Adam Rishon, the sin, when he comes to his corrections on the still vegetative animate, and that it's still the light working, then the light starts working on the degree of the speaking level, and he starts working differently. On the speaking level, it starts educating him. Bestows and waits for a response. The response was always there from the will to receive, but a response that comes with his participation, with his freedom of choice. When is the will to receive called that it's a created being? When it understands that it has an opportunity to develop individually with an addition from himself. And this addition he gives, that it awakens even before the upper light awakens it in him. That is called the created being. And before it's not a created being. Why do you even have to call it a created being if the light's doing everything? Yeah.
In the current state, we're called created beings. Do we have the ability?
No, not yet.
Not yet?
I mean, us, if we're speaking about the group, yeah. Here, there are already... Well, there are some kind of reactions that you can say that they are reactions in awareness and understanding and movement towards being a created being, because the true created being is opposite than the light that is already working in a truly, the created being is from the point that the force of bestow clothes upon him, and not before. Before it, it's a preparation for it.
So what's in our hands to do? Or right now, just to go through the process?
No, what process? We're speeding it up. But still, from behalf of the created spiritual being, we don't exist there yet, because we don't have free movements that I do it above my own will to receive. I still don't have such an ability. The moment I have it, when the light will bestow, then you can say the light bestows. So what? That's called that you're a created being if it's the light giving you the force. But the light gives force is a result of my exertion. It's always like that.
And my exertion is a result of the influence of the light, or is it something he leaves for you?
My exertion is a result of the connection between us, the importance of the Creator on one hand, and my investment in the connection between us. My awakening depends on the influence of the light. The implementing of that, the realization of that awakening, that is already my work. The correct realization, yes.
And the importance of the Creator, is it something that they're giving you that when you're ready, or you can demand it?
It is given, and afterwards you demand it, but it's given. That's where the whole business of faith above reason starts. What is faith? Above reason. Importance of the Creator, more than the created being. That's it. Okay, good. Yeah, Maurice. Bless us.
Be my honor. Good morning, Rav, dear friends, World Kli. You explained about the primordial matter, that we fill it using this matter. Is there other roles for this matter, phenomena, processes that take place with it?
The primordial matter constantly remains as our foundation. And every time, on each and every degree, we feel it. As much as all that will to receive is built upon it, and how opposite it is from the light that created it. Darkness from the light. And we scrutinize it more, meaning it reveals itself. It's not that we specifically want to scrutinize it more and more. It's revealed. That same primordial matter is the foundation, and we scrutinize it on degrees where qualities against the Creator develops, pro the Creator that you attain it. And we can say that we constantly research. We research that primordial matter as much as it is opposite from the Creator. Between it and the Creator is where we exist.
I meant, with your permission, processes or additional phenomena like electricity, gray energy, things that were not clear to us today. Is it also activated from within that same matter that the Creator...
No. It's all nonsense. Don't pay attention to all those things. It's phenomena that man still can't discover. There's many things we can't reveal yet. We're not supposed to discover all the phenomena in this world, but on the contrary, when we discover spiritual phenomena, it'll be clear to us the way the roots, the branches, and the will to receive. This whole world is what happens in the will to receive. So all the phenomena in the will to receive, we'll discover them by attaining the phenomena and the will to bestow, and then it'll be completely clear to us in a very clear and simple way, in an elementary kind of way, what happens in this world. There's nothing special about it. Look at what all this physics is looking at, the atom, the elementary particles. In particles, no more than what is born of their connection, their special connection. That's where we don't understand anything. That's why we have nothing to research. It'll come on its own. And in a way not like in science, in a different way. Also, it'll be written down in a different way. We'll research it in a different way. The language of that science and the whole approach, I have no words. It's really not the path to reveal. We reveal through the reactions of the matter, and we have to discover, bestow, the force that is forcing the matter. That's where the whole secret is.
Thank you, Rav.
Who? Moscow.
Rav, позвольте вас вернуть к тому моменту, когда вы рассказывали...
Rav, if we can bring you back to that moment about You talked about the matter that influences the rocks. There's an expression in the Zohar that the rocks get inverted. What does it mean?
I don't know. Okay, that's easier to answer. But really, I can't explain it. I think I still don't understand it enough or attain it enough. We'll attain it together. Really, no. It belongs to Gal Vatzilut, where the marble stone and no. Soon. That's it.
I forgot about the Creator yesterday. I got a blow. So the question is, what is the best, most efficient use of this pain in the ego, not to erase it?
I didn't understand. Yesterday you got a blow. What, a rock fell on you?
No, I forgot about the teddy bear. It's nonsense, but it doesn't feel nice in the ego.
I don't understand. What blow?
It's not a physical blow. It's a blow in the ego.
A blow in the ego. Somebody told you you're a teddy bear. Okay, whatever.
Yes, let's say. So I have a pain.
Still.
And we also have this work about the importance of the Creator that we're talking about. How not to erase one. In short, what is it for?
All the blows we receive is in order to wake up and understand we are getting them from the Creator. And in according to that, to ascribe everything to His taking care of. I don't ascribe anything to anybody in the world, no importance. There's none else besides Him. Einod milvado. That's why we get everything from Him. From all kinds of ways He dresses, and the friends or the haters or these or those. But I only have business with Him. Now, when I have business with the Creator and when He's good and benevolent, it's clear that what He does is in all kinds of ways it awakens me also to be in equivalence of form with Him. How can I imagine myself what good and benevolent is, what I have to do through this awakening I got? Think about it. But obviously you have to ascribe it to the Creator only and see as much as by that blow you thank Him for the blow and how you advance towards it and connect and hug Him as much as it works.
Вы не сказали, что такое важность Творца. Если это ощущение, то должно быть кли. Парцув должен быть. Где оно находится?
You didn't say what is the importance of the Creator. If it's a feeling, we need a vessel, a partzuf. Where is it? How does it grow?
I don't know. I know that this important happened, this feeling called importance of the Creator, more than the feeling of the importance of myself. And now I can imagine, what does it mean to do everything for the Creator, to love the others if it's good for Him? Doing everything, meaning to do everything that it'll be good for Him. Why? Because that's how I feel. Where does that clothe? If I'm the will to receive, so it's clothed in my will to receive. I still can't discern where it is in me. I got importance. That's it. And I'm speaking about a feeling. in the Kli, above the Kli, below the Kli. It doesn't matter. The main thing is that I have such an observation, such a perception. That's what comes. I came to it, it works in me, it gives me such a feeling, and according to that I can advance. So all my work with the friends, with the study, all that, the whole world exists so I can build all kinds of forms of importance of the Creator from it. Everything I turn to, everything I do, it'll only be in order to come close to Him, to do something for Him. If I can do something against my will to receive, that it'll be for His benefit, I am happy to do it. Little, easy things. The important changes, the calculation changes. Just like with us, I want to sleep, but my little child wants me to take care of him. He needs taking care of. So I give up on myself and take care of him. That's called that his importance is more than mine. That's it. Just like that. Towards the Creator. Yes.
Важностью себя, которая побеждается важностью Творца.
Meaning, I measure the importance of the Creator and how it overcomes my self-importance.
Correct. That's the only way I can check how much importance of the Creator I have. And now we understand that if so, they have to increase my ego, my will to receive that. Upon that, I can increase the importance of the Creator more. This against that. That's why each that is greater than his friend, his inclination is bigger than him too.
Still,
this vessel, where the importance of the Creator appeared, is my vessel or the ten's vessel?
It doesn't matter. That's what I feel. I feel that it's like that. Where did it come from? Where do I know? I am now looking at the world. And I have all kinds of different perceptions in the world. Where are they from? From me looking at the whole world, knowing it. I got impressions from it. Is it my impressions? No. My opinions? No. But I feel them as my own. That's it. What's your vessel? You have nothing except for that spark, that black point. The rest you got. But what you have for now, what you received, what you absorbed, that's called you. Meaning, we can speak in all kinds of geometric ways or even forces because it will confuse us. I need a feeling to feel. That is what I yearn for. That's it. Because we are a vessel of feeling, the will to receive, the will to enjoy. Well, let's go on if we'll study tests now. It's not about 40 minutes. It's about people. There's a lot of people who never studied it. And for them, it'll be difficult. Read 19.
Excerpt 19 from Rabash to article, What is a cup of blessing must be full in the work. However, before the Yanikah, there is Ibul, conception, meaning that the upper one corrects him. This can be when a person is like an embryo in its mother's womb, where the embryo annuls before the mother and has no view of its own. But, as our sages said, an embryo is its mother's thigh, eats what its mother eats, and has no authority of its own to ask any questions. Rather, it does not merit a name. This is called mute, when he has no mouth to ask questions. This is so when a person can go with his eyes shut, above reason, and believe in the sages and go all the way. This is called ibur, when he has no mouth. And ibur means, as it is written in the study of 10 Sfirot, the level of Malchut, which is the most restricted katnut, restricted smallness possible. It is called ibur. It comes from the words evra, anger, and dinim, judgments, as it is written, and the Lord was impregnated in me for your sake. We should interpret the meaning of anger and judgments. When a person must go with his eyes shut, above reason, the body resists this work. Hence the fact that a person always has to overcome, this is called anger, wrath, and trouble. Since it is hard work to always overcome and annul before the upper one. For the upper one to do with him what the upper one wants. This is called ibur, which is the most restricted katnut possible.
How can we workshop? How can we depict a state where we give the upper one or let the upper one make whatever he wants of us? How do we let the upper one make of us whatever he wants? Please.
We will do it now together. We have time for it, to ask the Creator to help us, to give us this state, to ask of Him.
The Creator gave us this state already. He actually put us in an environment. And Kabbalists tell us that the environment is actually the revelation of the Creator every day, again and again. And that's where we have to build this feeling.
This is something that exists only between us, something that can be manufactured between us, where each and every one here, it's his duty to incorporate in the friends and give the friends an example. So we would truly want the Creator to act in us. That our disturbance is that the ego is winning, and we don't give the Creator room to work.
The upper one, anyway, does with us whatever he wants. We just can't help each other to agree with it, to accept it, to see it as good and benevolent, even though sometimes it doesn't seem that way right away. Because the alternative is to not see it like this. So we can see that everything's bad, but still, whatever's supposed to happen, that's what's going to happen. The upper one planned it, and he's doing it.
We're constantly in this process where the next state invites us to it. The next state is always the more connected, the state where there's more greatness of the Creator. There's a greater gap between the will to receive and the quality of bestowal. One way or another, we're going to go through it. So it's better to look at the process and to invite the next state to become partners. We have an opportunity to be partners with Him in the process that our matter is undergoing.
We need to invite this state. What does that mean, actually? It's to take steps to come close to one another and to ask for the help of the light in that.
Yeah, we must reach synchronicity with upper light. That is between us, and that's what we heard from Rav, that we imagine those states. Seemingly, we act them out, and it can happen that we let the light influence us.
I don't know, it really depends on coming to work every day, again and again, to work. It's look everything in a clean way, not to come with the way I think, to come every day, to let the words of the Kabbalah and the lesson just cleanse us. To just come here as if I never heard anything and just let it cleanse.
And that wash is to do this reset, and each time start the work anew. That's a quality that's rooted in us more and more, that each time when we're able to see our state and gradually yearn for the true corrected state, and when we have this yearning, we begin to agree for the Creator to work in us, on us.
This agreement has to be built between us. It's a force that we have to give each other, and to get confidence in that in the connection between us, the Creator will be revealed, the upper world will be revealed as good and benevolent. And that's the way He pushes us. He doesn't give up on us in our growing time. And we also have to ask of Him. We ask Him to give us what He wants to give us. And that's the quality of bestow. It's a clean quality of bestow that we have to feel upon what's in our nature. Only then we'll understand what we feel. Only then we'll understand what the will to receive is. As long as we're in it, we can't understand it, and obviously not the actions that are happening on it. Just from the gap between the quality of bestow that helps us advance and the will to receive that just wants to rest, doesn't want anything, just to let Him go. And the gap is the us that are starting to build itself, the center of the 10.
We're building a vessel that allows us to receive what the upper one wants to give us.
We're listening to the friends, and that is the bestow from the light. Now we have to listen to the friends, not to hear myself, and to ask of the Creator that if I don't hear them, to be below what the friends are saying to me.
Come with a desire of love to the friends at every moment. Think not how I see them, but how can I support and help and justify? Because who are those friends? It's a reflection of the Creator, of that all those flaws is what I see, what I project from myself. So all that's left is to love, and that brings us closer to the truth.
What I said, it's nice. It's actually to develop sensitivity, to recognize what's happening outside of me, what's happening inside of me, and not to... That's actually the work.
So it turns out that we're responsible for one another. It's not about individual work. A person can't grasp correctly the work of the upper one on him. He can't understand it. He will always take it as if he receives personal treatment, personal punishment. He can't see the system from his place. It's a new view. It's a new approach that we have to build between us.
Yeah, and this feeling comes from the light. It's the result of the work of the light. What are we doing? We're inviting the light to come and work on us and to teach us what its desire is. The question is, how do we do what He wants? We have to know what He wants. In order to know it, we need to invite that knowledge, to understand that we don't know and to want to know it together between us. In annulment, in agreement, in happiness from that annulment, all those means, all those, in order to know what His desire is.
If we want to know if we're in the right directions, the indication for it is how much we're looking for it between us. We understand and we feel that The path to the light is only by building a new vessel, a common vessel of connection between us.
Yeah, we want to know what for one wants that will do it between us, that nobody can do it on his own. Never will know. And here now, to ask for it, to ask to reach that one thing from us.
And to see the world clean now gathering to reach this feeling gives a lot of strength and confidence, and we shouldn't take it for granted that so many people gather together to scrutinize that. It's a great deal of power, and we just gotta let it carry it for us. Friends, let's open the writings of Baal HaSulam in the article of Revelation and Concealment 2. Concealment and disclosure of the face of the Creator 2. Concealment and disclosure of the Creator 2. Depiction of concealment of the face. First, suffering torments such as deficient income, poor health, degradations, failing to accomplish one's plans, and emotional dissatisfaction. 2. Praying without being answered. Declining when bettering one's actions. For example, when he keeps himself from not cheating his friends, he's decreasing, and when he's trying to do good, when he tries to do bad, he goes up. He doesn't get his wealth in an honest way. 3. All his acquaintances that go in a straight line, they suffer poverty and disease and all sorts of degradations, and his wicked acquaintances make fun of him every day, and they succeed and they rise in richness and health, and they sit quietly without concern. 4. All of his righteous acquaintances who keep the Torah and mitzvot seem cruel, egoistical, odd, or innately stupid and impolite, as well as hypocritical. And he finds it repulsive to be with them, even in the Garden of Eden, and he cannot bear to be with them for even a moment. Rav, let us talk about this state of the concealment of the face, please.
The state of concealment of the face, that what we learn about compared to what we're really in, is two different things. That isn't felt as one. And here we have nice examples that my attitude towards the friends, towards the others, towards the Creator, that nothing actually serves my interest.
There was in the newspaper this section called Test Yourself. There were questions, and you can test your true state. Baal HaSulam gives us a similar exercise. He gives us this questionnaire. Is this how you feel? It's disconcerting. It's concerning. On the other hand, it raises hope. You have a great potential for changing.
Yeah, there's not much to add on what Bala Sulam writes. So nice. All these descriptions. Just always when I read this, can man in this state, and he doesn't know, he just feels this feeling, or is he in this state and he knows that he's in concealment? He says here, this is concealment, this is how it's expressed, my attitude towards the others. Only when they do something wrong. So it's all opposite, but he knows that this is concealment.
It's not clear from the article. Nevertheless, the feeling is what's governing, and he feels that nothing that supports spirituality is worth anything, meaning it is beneficial, not in this world or the next.
If we even reach such a state, such an exalted state, and very clear, because sometimes you think that there's like sympathy and according to nature between the friends. I feel them exalted, high, and here sometimes you see them as dumb, or sometimes it's the opposite. It's not always if you truly reach such a state already, so
there's also this indifference that comes to me. Specifically, the indifference is even worse. At least here, the concealment of the face brings us a state of some understanding, that you recognize it, you see it. These are discernments that you have. These discernments are something. It's a revelation of evil, it's an appearance of the Creator, but in concealment of the face. It's a very high state. It's important that we as a group will cherish every moment like that where we feel this concealment, because it's a key to our advancement.
yeah, and a good society is a society that helps you pay attention to it, to keep it, to cherish it. Because as much as it's carved on your heart, on your feeling, it'll remain for your whole life. And we as a society have to help each and every one to get more examples, as much as the ego is in control, as much as it's all through that.
What does a person say when he feels himself in this illustration of concealment of the face? Of course, everything is with respect to the person in attainment, who attains. Yeah, he feels what's happening here. He understands where it's coming from. Please.
Yeah, this feeling, no doubt, is an invitation from the upper one to start moving and not to just stay in this state. I remember when I used to come back from work on like a day full of pressure, and we used to have a dog. I used to sit on him sitting on the carpet, and for one moment I was jealous of him that he was sitting in the sun all day. But then you understand you have a different role and different work, and you have to be envious of different things. And that, you're for sure you don't want to go there.
Yeah, so Rami's dog is barking, and we have to simply rise above it. Search for the owners, the master of the dog, who activates him. Definitely not dive into the state, but recognize it, see it, and say, okay, now I want to connect to the one who activates it. And to be only there in the quality of a stone. Don't think at all about myself. Don't feel self-pity or anything.
Rav, do we feel in the state of descent something of what Bala Sulam states here? Do we feel during the descent something of what Bala Sulam states right here? Please.
I think so. I don't know what is that shape exactly, but during the descent you feel a concealment on the spiritual path. It appears to you that it doesn't lead you anywhere, it doesn't advance you, it doesn't support the will to receive. and you only lose from it. And everyone who's on it also doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, we feel states, such feelings, but it's sometimes and not always, and it keeps changing. I think it's great happiness to reach such a state, because I think they'll also give forces in scrutiny, in clarity to see this state, and then start ascending.
I think it's a tricky question, because if you feel it, it's not true descent. The descent is when you're disconnected completely. Here it's a depiction of a very strong connection to the work. It's a scrutiny. A person is in a certain kind of recognition, awareness of how the Creator relates to him. I don't know that you can call it a descent.
We can go every topic here and see that it's our state. Every topic here in this piece is here lack of importance, rejection from the friends. Every time a person goes through a state,
let's read it again and hear about it, about the consummation of the face, and we'll check if this is what we feel during the descent, or if we are still lacking this feeling, meaning we lack certain discernments. Please. Depiction of concealment of the face. 1. Suffering torments such as deficient income, poor health, degradations, failing to accomplish one's plans, and emotional dissatisfaction. 2. Praying without being answered. When he improves his manners, meaning when he keeps himself from cheating, deceiving his friends, he goes backwards. And when he worsens his actions, he succeeds. Obtaining one's sustenance in improper manner, in deception, stealing, or by desecrating the Shabbat. 3. All of one's honest acquaintances suffer poverty, ill health, and degradations of all kind. And one's wicked acquaintances mock him every day and succeed in health, wealth, and lead carefree lives. 4. All of his righteous acquaintances who keep Torah and mitzvot seem cruel, egoistical, odd, or innately stupid and impolite, as well as hypocritical. He finds it repulsive to be with them, even in the Garden of Eden, and he cannot bear to be with them for even a moment.
Question. When we are in a descent, do we feel such states, and do we feel that it's the concealment of the face that purposefully they're giving us this feeling from above? Please.
There's a fine point of discernment, because the moment we begin to see that what is our state now, where do we need to be, it's already an ascent. So I need to define exactly what is the point of descent, and that is a bit problematic.
From above, in order to awaken man, you have to develop a deficiency for the correct thing. And all of these thoughts and these states and these feelings of man are all kinds of little pokes for a person to scrutinize what he wants to be. Does he want to be that dog or man, or we challenge him? So yeah, they send all kinds of states. for us to be envious of maybe somebody who has a lot of money or his life seems easy, but a moment later, again, you stop and say where it came from, why did it come from, who did it come from, why do I have to see it like this?
Definitely, it seems like Baal Salam has given us a checklist. A person begins from receiving torments, and then it awakens him. Then he's asking, how can I come out of it? And then he begins to pray. He's not answered. Then he's looking at his friends. Looking now, what's up with the friends? How are they? He sees a state that's opposite of what he's supposed to see. And so gradually he awakens until he comes to revelation. So from this complete indifference to a state where he understands his state.
We have to see that if during descent we get the states according to what is described here, so in somewhat yes, but most things, or at least part of them, I don't really understand, and I can't really clothe them in our imagination even what he means. And part in one way or another yes, and part no.
Yeah, part yes, part no. As Gilad said, it's very interesting. It's this interesting investigation to follow this checklist. As you said, but in general, the answer is that we sometimes do feel that it's the Creator, truly, squirting this depiction. But not always, but sometimes we succeed in being in it. It's tough, but
it's impossible to do it alone. Only if in some way we're in connection to society, we can remember that it's states of concealment of the face. It's as if the Creator taking care of us, raising us, giving us all kinds of states. But this connection is really, it's all depending on the 10. If you didn't succeed in the morning lesson or in your state to grasp on to the 10, to the spiritual structure, it's as if by this you lose all of your ability to remember that everything comes from the Creator.
What's important between us is to catch the state. What do I intend to do with the state? I grab the Creator in this, or am I just running away from it and trying to get out of it as soon as possible?
It seems that we have everything here. He tries in part 3. His friends who go on the straight path, he's turning to the 10. Okay, so what is my attitude towards the 10? I see. No, I don't see them in their good state. And then he says, okay, so the people on the outside, there it's great. He recognizes the Creator working on him in the concealment. That's why it's calling it a concealment. From concerned about himself to the 10.
Rav, let's see what is the ascent correspondingly. We need to see that we'll have such ascents and descents with us. Not that you can't distinguish. So what is an ascent?
Depiction of disclosure of the face. 1. Reception of abundant good and peace. Obtainment of one's livelihood with ease and to the fullest. One never feels scarcity or ill health. He is respected wherever he turns, and successfully and easily accomplishes each plan that comes to his mind. 2. When one prays, he is immediately answered. When he betters his way, he is very successful. And when he worsens his ways, he loses his success. 3. All one's acquaintances who walk on the straight path are wealthy healthy, know no illness, are highly respected by people, and dwell in peace and tranquility. And acquaintances who do not follow the straight path are poor income, filled with troubles and pains, ill, and contemptible in the eyes of people. One who regards all the righteous acquaintances as clever, responsible, well-mannered, truthful, and so comely that they most are pleasurable to be among them.
We see from here that, what does it mean, disclosure of the face? That a person enters and sees things like the Creator, in governing, in approaching things like the Creator. So everything works out for him according to the upper providence. That's why it appears to him that he is good, who does good in everything, wherever I turn. Whereas concealment of the face means that a person is not in the same nature as the Creator, and consequently, what he sees appears opposite of the good who does good. And that's what he sees in all his discernments in his life. Meaning all depends on acquiring the qualities of the upper or opposite to the upper. And that's what depicts for us the world, life, with all of its modes and manners that we feel. Everything depends only on that. So again, talk about it, please. What is the difference between concealment of the face and depiction of disclosure of the face towards a person and our qualities? And how do we come to disclosure of the face? Please.
During the reading,
what's the difference in this perception? Who invites in us this perception? What can we do accordingly? Everything. What's between those two states?
what happened during the reading that I felt is that everything that we're lacking between seeing the depiction between concealment and disclosure is the ability to connect everything to the purpose of creation, from the importance to actually reach bestowal and love between us, to see how it all works out according to this. That's the goal, so everything is like that.
I also thought about this thing where only a tiny spice of love, that's what is lacking, that's what inverts the picture. Like a mother who looks at her little child and he can look like a monkey and she will think he's an angel, a model, only because she has love. So all of reality looks different. Friends are good, reality looks nice and successful. This quality of love is what we want to acquire. That is the force that inverts concealment into a disclosure, from a state of hatred, which is also necessary, to a state of love.
This is a result of the light that works on us. Obviously, a person himself can't do it. Obviously, it's something that comes as a result of the work and the 10. And this is exactly what the friends say, that reality didn't change. It's the same friends, the same health, the same bank account, the same everything. Everything the same. Only that, from the will to receive, you always think you're right. But from the quality of bestowal, it's something completely different. There, you always justify.
It's nice to see how all the changes are in men. Like a person, like Gilad said, nothing changes, only the perception of reality, and that's a result of the work of the light on us. Also, how does that relate to the connection between us? He doesn't talk about it here. It's not so clear, the connection. But we understand it's also a result. We want to be in connection between us. The perception of our reality changes.
Look how interesting it is. When we're broken, we see a certain picture. When we connect reality, then the light that's revealed immediately shows us the picture consisting of the same components, but with a completely different content. So, what does it mean to be in revelation? What does livelihood mean? These are things that you can talk about only when we're connected as one Partzuf, and there you feel it.
It's always surprising how all it is in our perception. It's the Creator is positioning reality the way we need to see it in order to advance. There's no good or bad. There's only advancing. Either you come closer. There's only come closer to the goal, and in coming closer, it could be right foot, left foot, ascent, descent, but it's all on this path. It's truly all inside of us.
We can talk about disturbances as guidances. So, whatever I feel, whatever I experience, it's actually another means to calibrate myself. So at first, when I'm buried in the ego, I see it as something that pains my ego. If I have the importance of the goal, wishing to achieve bestowal, then I can use this state in order to focus myself more correctly on the meaning of life, on who's governing everything, what am I supposed to do.
Yeah, the fact that they skip us between concealment and revelation. Concealment and revelation is for us to build the correct attitude towards revelation, because concealment itself.
Moving on to the next part, and let's sing a song.
אתן להם את הכל, הם מושיטים לי ידיים, הם לא נותנים לי ליפול, החברים שלי, אתן להם את הכל. מהצד זה הרגיש לי מוזר, הם בונים שם שיטה לאהוב, ועלה ביסוס לא מוכר, הלוואי והייתי קרוב, מסתובב עם הבלתי נתפס, איך אפשר לבנות אהבה? מרגיש כמו תינוק מיותם, סוג של קנאה מתוקה. הם מושיטים לי ידיים, הם לא נותנים לי ליפול, החברים שלי, אתן להם את הכל. הם מושיטים לי ידיים, הם לא נותנים לי ליפול, החברים שלי, אתן להם את הכל. מאחורי המסך השקוף, מילים מקסימות של אור, רציתי איתם לעוף, אבל הלב שלי שחור, מסתובב עם הבלתי נתפס, איך אפשר לבנות אהבה, אך בכל זאת מרגיש מיותר, סוג של קנאה מתוקה. הם מושיטים לי ידיים, הם לא נותנים לי ליפול, החברים שלי, אתן להם את הכל. הם מושיטים לי ידיים, הם לא נותנים לי ליפול, החברים שלי, אתן להם את הכל. לעולם הם לא ייתנו לי ליפול, אני אתן להם, אתן את הכל, כי לעולם הם לא ייתנו לי ליפול, אני אתן להם את הכל. אז הרימו ידיים גבוה לשמיים, לחברים שלי, לחברים שלי. מושיטים לי ידיים, הם לא נותנים לי ליפול. החברים שלי, אתן להם את הכל. הם מושיטים לי ידיים, הם לא נותנים לי ליפול. החברים שלי, אתן להם את הכל. הם מושיטים לי ידיים, הם לא נותנים לי ליפול. החברים שלי, אתן להם את הכל. החברים שלי, אתן להם את הכל. החברים שלי, אתן להם את הכל.
השיעור מבוסס על מאמרים מהספר כתבי בעל הסולם. את הספר ניתן להוריד באתר קבלה לעם, kab.co.il.
שלום, אנחנו לומדים את המאמר תורת הקבלה ומהותה של בעל הסולם. בספר כתבי בעל הסולם אנחנו נמצאים בעמוד 24 בכותרת שפת התנ"ך.
We're studying the teaching of Kabbalah in its essence. You can find it in Kabbalah for the student. Actually, find it in the archive.
So we've learned that we have in the wisdom of Kabbalah, in order to explain to us where we are, what's going on with us, what's going on, who's the manager, what's going on with us, the system that works on us, how does it work on us, how can we work on it. So, in order to attain the entire reality, we have 4 languages. Approaches will be more proper to explain. The language of the Tanakh, the Bible, the language of the Halakha, the language of the Haggadah, the language of Kabbalah. And so there are additions, but it's mainly these 4 languages. The language of Kabbalah is the most precise, the highest, but all the rest of the languages complement the language of Kabbalah, the words of Kabbalah. And that's all we have in order to understand what's going on with us and where we are. So now we're going to learn the first language, which is the language of the Bible.
The language of the Bible. The language of the Bible is the primary rudimentary language, perfectly suited for its task, as for the most part it contains a root and branch relation. This is the easiest language to understand. This language is also the oldest. It is the holy tongue attributed to Adam Harishon, to Adam. This language has 2 advantages and 1 disadvantage. Its first advantage is that it is easy to understand, and even beginners in attainment immediately understand all they need. The second advantage is that it clarifies matters extensively and in depth, more than in all other languages. Its disadvantage is that it cannot be used for discussing particular issues or connections of cause and consequence. This is so because every matter needs to be clarified in its fullest measure, as it is not self-evident in showing to which element it is referring, unless by presenting the whole matter. Hence, to emphasize the smallest detail, a complete story must be presented. This is why it is unfit for small details or for connections of cause and consequence. Also, the language of prayers and blessings is taken from the language of the Bible.
Its meaning, it's a good language, it's a nice one, but for someone who is in the attainment, understanding according to this language, what's it about? It's clear, the details are clear for him, everything is clear for him, except for the changes, the dynamics is hard to talk about in the language of the Bible. Catches one frame, one picture, and that's how it can. It's not a flexible language, even though it seems to you it is with all the stories of the Bible and all, but it's not about the spiritual states that this language should convey to us. That's what he says. Of course, we're only talking about the ones who attain. The second language is
the language of laws. The language of law is not of reality, but of the existence of reality. This language is taken entirely from the language of the Bible, according to the roots of the laws presented there. It has one great advantage over the Bible, as it greatly elaborates on every matter and hence points to the upper roots more accurately. However, its great disadvantage compared to the language of the Bible is that it is very difficult to understand. This is the most difficult of all the languages, and only a complete sage called entering and exiting without harm. Only he will attain it. Of course, it also contains the first disadvantage as it is taken from the Bible.
Meaning, an accurate, good, nice language which catches this matter of the root and branch exactly, but only for ones who attain it in the upper roots, then it is clear to him what's it about. Otherwise, he remains in some just knowing the facts, the actions of this world that have no beginning above and no end above. Next.
The language of legends. The language of legends is easy to understand through the allegories that perfectly fit the desired meaning. In superficial examination, it seems even easier to understand than the language of the Bible. Yet, for complete understanding, it is a very difficult language, since it does not confine itself to speaking in sequences of root and branch, but only in allegories and marvelous wit. However, it is very rich in resolving abstruse and odd concepts that concern the essence of the degree in its state, for itself, which cannot be explained in the language of the Bible and the law.
We can say that the difference is what separates the language of the legends is the emotional matter, the emotional picture it brings us. The language of legends, the language of Agadah. That's why we can't settle only for it, and that's clear. However, when we take it connecting the rest of the languages to it, it adds color to the attainment. Next.
The language of Kabbalists. The language of Kabbalists is a language in the full sense of the word. Very precise, both concerning root and branch, and concerning cause and consequence. It has a unique merit of being able to express subtle details in this language without any limits. Also, through it, it is possible to approach the desired matter directly without the need to connect it with what precedes it or follows it. However, despite all the sublime merits that you find in it, there is a great fault to it. It is very difficult to attain, almost impossible, except from a Kabbalist sage and from a wise one who understands with his own mind. This means that even one who understands the rest of the degrees from below upwards and from above downwards with his own mind will still not understand a thing in this language until he receives it from a sage who has already received the language from his teacher face to face.
Yes, that's called devotion, from one generation to the next. Meaning there's a language that can be the best, the most clear, includes all the other languages, explains everything, the individual and the collective. You can zoom in to each and every detail of creation and explain it in detail or in general. There is no problem. Just as we work in a modern computer, on everything, you have it all. You have all these tools and abilities. However, you need to know the software very well. And that's something you can only get out of dedication, devotion, handing out this wisdom from one generation to another. Let's hope we'll have it. Are there any questions about what we read now? Even though you have to understand that he's talking about... He's talking... He said a lot, and there are many questions. But, well, let's try. Yes, Terence.
Rav, why do we need 4 languages? Why not just one?
The truth is, we don't need even one language. No language. Because we are the will to receive. And our will to receive explains everything to us. However, to hand out this wisdom from one generation to another, from a Rav, from a teacher to a student, to write about it, because it's a wisdom, it should be expressed externally in order to be there for everyone. A person cannot go into the wisdom of Kabbalah just like that, jump in for it to be revealed for him. He has to exert, to study through his corporeal mind, corporeal emotion, until he gets it. That's why we need some means in order to explain this to him, for him to talk with us, so that the friends talk among themselves, so that they use a printed language, so people can read and understand. It's a matter of the holy tongue, the holy language, where the language becomes a kli, a vessel already. There are many things to it. Even if a person is explaining these things for himself, the way he perceives godliness, the way he feels, he changes. That's also a language. A language is not only about you understanding me, me understanding you, or maybe we write to each other about some material, some paper or stone or something. No. A language is an expression of what's going on with me in my kli, even regarding myself, the way I understand it, the way I feel it, and out of me being included in the 4 bechinot of Havaya. So, conversely, you have 4 languages. And I can't have one without the other. I see that the next title is the language of Kabbalah is contained in all. But still, even though it is contained in all, you still have 4 languages, not one.
But why is it only the language of root and branch is the language of Kabbalists?
All the rest of the languages are also... They also come to us from above. They connect the root and the branch, but it's not so precise as with the wisdom of Kabbalah. That's the thing. But every language, what is a language? I feel something in my kli, and accordingly I should depict the upper system that invites such a response in me. So the connection between the upper that calls for such a response in me and the response itself in me, this connection is called the language.
Yeah, but why from...
of the way they are talking. Why Abraham didn't start with the language of Shoresh ve'Anaf?
I don't think that this language didn't exist. Of course, all the 4 languages existed to begin with, because it's clear that that's how the connection between the worlds acts. But in every period, 2,000 years, forefathers, sons, etc., you have the matter of a different attainment. That's why they use different languages. Okay?
Terence
didn't always live here. I grew up here, and people always told me about halacha, the law, and the mitzvot, do this and do that, and school about the Bible, learn about how you got the Torah in Mount Sinai. And he says all the great advantages of the Torah has a disadvantage because it's hard to attain, except from a wise.
Who are you talking about? The language of Kabbalah.
Yes, in the end, he says if you don't have a sage that you hear it from, you won't succeed.
Only by your attainment.
Only by your attainment. And he's showing me these 4 languages: language of the Bible, language of the law.
Legend.
I'm telling you, it's driving me nuts. It's very difficult for me. As my daughter is saying, she hears Kabbalah, she knows the truth, she hears what they speak about in school, and she's frustrated. She's sitting in class, she doesn't know what to say.
She shouldn't say anything.
Look, they took the law and they turned it into something.
Look, we're not talking about what they turned it into. The language of halakha, the laws, is something completely different.
So explain to me.
You're being explained about spiritual actions. Wait a minute. We're explaining to you about spiritual actions. The entire language is about explaining the actions of the upper force, the way it relates to the created being in the lower world, the way it manages it, the way it changes it, the way the created being can get to know him, and by these languages come closer back to his creator. That's a matter of languages. A language is a connection. That's it. So, you're being explained. There are 4 kinds of connection. Yud, K, Vav, K. 4 kinds of connections. And it depends on the aviyut, on the degree. That's why in the previous generations, as he said, with the Adam Arishon, with Adam, the main thing was the language of the Bible, then the language of the halacha, the laws. Then there was, even before, there was some language of Haggadah, the legends. Now we come closer and closer to the language of Kabbalah. The language of Kabbalah is not, look, what do you have in the language? Where do you have the language of Kabbalah? You have a bit with Abraham, with the book of Yetzirat, a bit with the Zohar, Rabba and Safra Detzniuta. There's you have the language of Kabbalah, and that's it. Well, Kabbalists wrote about it, and the main one is the Ari. Where do we have the language of Kabbalah? In the Tree of Life by the Ari.
What did I learn until I was 50?
Meaning, as much as humanity advances, the more it advances, acquires greater coarseness, greater aviyut, so it goes as if from above downwards with aviyut. So it demands, it requires a different language. As he writes, why does he first say the Bible, and then the laws, then the legends, then the Kabbalah? It's according to the degrees of aviyut that the generations, that they come and they go. There's the matter of incarnations. They come in greater and more coarse degrees. That's why these generations can use a more internal, a more precise language that includes more. That's why today we study the language of Kabbalah, and that's enough for us. The language of Kabbalah. When I came to Rabash, there was nothing, no books, except for the study of the 10 Sefirot. When I saw Hillel, my teacher, I came to his house, and I see the study of the 10 Sefirot and the Siddur, the prayer book. You know, usually when you come to some Orthodox person, you see a full wall of books, at least 2,000 books. I also had, if you ever were in my place in Rabbi Akiva when I used to live in Bnei Brak, you remember that. So what am I saying? I asked him, why? He said, what do I need? The study of the 10 Sefirot and the prayer book, the Siddur. That's it. That's all I need in my house. That's it. It was a wonder for me. Where are all the rest of the things? There are no other things. What does a person need? That's how he innocently answered.
I thought the language of the law is not exactly what you said. It's true what you're saying, but I know the language of halacha is...
All languages are not the language we speak or what you learn in your yeshiva. Forget about everything. Here, he talks about the language as a code, a connection between root and branch.
So I can give up everything and go straight to what is written here, the language of Kabbalists, is what you're saying.
Today, for us, in order to understand where we are and what's the Creator's desire, and to sustain it, you need the language of Kabbalah alone.
But it says there's a great disadvantage because it's hard to attain except from a Kabbalist sage.
Until you reach the real language of Kabbalah, what he's talking about, it will take some time and strength. But nonetheless, you will walk on the right path, the right lane. Because all the other languages will confuse you today. Try to understand, according to the language of legends, what's this whole thing. And also according to the other languages, you're going to imagine all these corporeal things with our coarse will to receive. We won't come out of all these earthly images.
You said something nice yesterday. Well, you never said it, by the way, that you can take anything. Take anything. It's a little tough, but draw the reforming light from the Bible and this and that.
Of course.
Doesn't need to be the language of Kabbalists.
But it's according to, for our generation, for our aviyut, the language of Kabbalah is. That's why it's developed only in the last generation. Is this clear? More? Someone up back? Soon you're going to sit behind the door, Gershon. I'd like to...
I want to ask. He's writing about the language of the Bible, that it's the principal, primary, rudimentary language perfectly suited for its task, and so on. He writes, this is... And then it came to me that the articles of Rabash, that we write, usually are based on a verse that he takes or two, and then he opens them up in an article.
Well, what can he do? He wants to show you that the way we know the Torah, that's what it's about. That's on the one hand. On the other hand, it's not his business to start interpreting the Bible. It's only to give you the foundation so you won't run away. You see, we're talking about the Bible here, the Torah. We're explaining it, interpreting it, etc. But after a sentence or two, he goes deep into the work of the Creator.
One person's inner work.
Yes?
So two questions. With respect to Rabash, if you know how much he tried to use it for his students and for his internal development in the language of the Bible. And another question, only in the language of Kabbalists, he gives a condition, meaning even a person who reaches attainment, if he doesn't learn from a Kabbalist sage, he will not be able to advance according to the language of Kabbalists. In the other languages, there is no such condition.
Yeah. In the other languages, it's no less than this. But it's mainly here because, well, we'll speak about it. We don't feel it now. Only now it seems to you that you can take the book of the study of the 10 Sfirot and then study what's going on there.
I don't think such a thing.
What?
I can't open study of tests and learn from it. That's why I'm asking.
You don't have the desire for it, or you mean you don't understand anything?
I won't understand, and it's also less attractive to me internally.
Actually, for me, it really attracts me. It seemed to me, it was attractive to me, and it seemed to me that this book contains all the secrets. I had this feeling, really, until I understood that the book contains nothing. It's only a means to reveal the connection. And in the connection with the upper force, there you reveal the truth. So, for our matter, for our state, for our soul, the language of Kabbalah is the language. But again, it's not what we understand to be the language of Kabbalah. When we say Partzufim, Sfirot, Olamot, we have to see what it's about, what's behind all that. I have to start feeling these discernments. Just as behind the Bible, the laws and the legends, we have to feel what's around behind it. And it's all speaking about the same things. It's the same system. In the Haggadah, in the Halacha, in the Bible, or in the Kabbalah, it's all the same system. I just need what's easier for me to talk, what's closer for my perception, for my feeling. That's what's important for me. So the best thing for me now, today, is not all these images or forms or the laws I get confused about and all that. There were times, generations, that felt what this is about, what it's talking about. I didn't feel. I remember we were sitting in the hospital with the Rabash the first time. I was just studying for a few months, and he started explaining to me what this law of two guys holding the talit mean. It's the good and the bad inclinations that have a quarrel, and what's the dispute between the two? So I started, it immediately opened up. Before that, I never took notice with this book. What do I care about the talit and the laws? What am I about to be an attorney? Who's right? Who's wrong? How we should cut it? Suddenly, he shows me it's about the soul. It's a good and the evil inclination that grab a person and they have a dispute. They have the share between them. How can I change the way they share things, and what's going to happen to me? So you see, so there were generations for years that people felt that this is what's it about. It was easy. Today, talk to people who know the Gemara by heart. Is it about this or not? This is the way you relate to the words? No. And if they don't relate to it this way, they don't understand the language. That's what we call Kabbalists from Jerusalem. They know the words by heart. It's as if you put it into a computer, and if you just push the button, it can give you the whole text.
I want to ask about that. The example you gave now, that Rabash explained to you about two who are holding a talit. I know, and I don't know about friends, that when Rabash starts to open up a verse, it awakens a great deal of impression and a desire and a certain inner discernment.
Because you feel it belongs to you.
Yes. Why is it not the same with the study of Tes, for example?
You don't yet relate it. So I'm telling you, the way, I'm so small, but still I feel a little bit that it's very emotional. It's emotional. You're going to cry. I'm telling you. A time will come when you will cry. You're going to read some part about the hizdakhut of the Masach to the Tzilut Partzuf from the previous Partzuf, and you're going to really... Yes. Imagine this. A time will come. Yes, Kola.
So why shouldn't we study Tes every evening instead of Tes? I mean, Tes instead of Zohar. Zohar, you just listen, you don't understand anything. Here, at least, it's cause and consequence. If the language of Kabbalah, as we learn in Tes, is the most valid.
I have two answers for that. One answer is that's what's written. The biggest merit is when you study Zohar. If a person sits and reads, and we have many verses about it, then the light that it reforms from the book of Zohar acts on him, and this person advances. You don't yet feel it, maybe you do feel it a bit, but it works. It works, and what can I tell you? It's a matter of accumulation of influences from above, and we'll feel it. It's best if we do it at least one time. We go through the Zohar from beginning to end, and we said that I'm willing to do that. I'm ready for it. And that has more benefit than the study of the 10 Sfirot. 1 hour a day, you can do it. If we could add 1 more hour of Tes in the evening, it would be best, but we can't. What can we do? Yeah, that's it. Yes, Alex.
Europe, Bulgaria, please.
Yes.
Здравейте.
Hello, friends. I'm happy that we are together. How do we prepare for the Italian Congress? Yesterday, the whole tent connected on the European Zoom, and we were very much impressed by the power that was there. all this force that existed in the European Zoom was like in Petah Tikva. How are we preparing for the Congress? Some people want to come physically to Italy, and a large part will remain behind and have a mirror Congress. We have new people that just now finished campus. We are looking for a space. We are very much excited and surprised by this great desire that we feel, how everyone is burning. Each of our tents, we feel how everything that Rav is saying, that this huge European group is very helpful, and how we can give of ourselves and prepare together. We feel that this Congress will be a Congress on a whole other level. L'chaim.
Yes, undoubtedly this Congress will be different. It will be in a different form, a different color compared to all the previous Congresses. We have to make an attempt to connect different groups relatively far from each other. We're going to try to do it. We have 2 months for it. We have to invest much in it. I really hope that whoever can aid it going over there or not going physically, doesn't matter, but he will know how to use it, because this could be a very strong leverage, very substantial for a personal and group advancement. Yes.
We have more news. And
we have more news.
To understand about which meeting Tushe was talking, because there's so many activities, it's impossible to follow up. But 2 highlights. In the afternoon, each afternoon, Italian tents invite European tents, and yesterday there were friends from Moscow, Germany, from all over Europe, even from United States. It was really a firework of joy. Next Tuesday there will be a very special meeting at 2:30 Israel time. The Moscow tents will invite all the Germans and Italians, of course, and everybody wants to come. Yesterday in the evening there was content meeting. There were more than 50 connections, work in the tents, about the content of the Congress, about the lessons of the Congress, topic and content of each lesson. There were friends from Czech Republic, Slovakia, Slovenia, ex-Yugo, Bulgaria, Germania, Italy, Spain, UK, France, Baltia. And the friends from Worldly really take care of us. Friends from Chile, North America, Russia, Canada, Kazakhstan. They really enwrap us with their love and care. We feel great support. And again, many things are happening. It's impossible to follow up. A great awakening. And everybody expecting this Shabbat. What's happening, that it will be really an uplifting. L'chaim, friends.
ועכשיו אנחנו עוברים למשימה.
And we're going to the daily task from Riga.
Во-первых, хотим поблагодарить Рава за этот урок, после которого...
We'd like to thank Rav for this lesson, after which there are those processes that take place inside as an awakening, and we want to remind everyone that today, taking care of the whole world Kli, Petach Tikva, 10 number 8, the Ranana group, 10 number 2 from Italy, 10 number 3 from Moscow, and the 10 of Latvia. And the daily task. We're helping one another in the 10 to annul ourselves, to give ourselves to the upper, so he will make of us what he wants. Again, throughout the day, we help one another in the 10 to deliver ourselves to the upper one, so he will do whatever he wants from us. Thank you to Riga, thank you to our viewers on the television, and have a good day. Together in the Academy, you're invited to happening for the new BA that is course that is opening. It's next Friday, June 8th, between 10 and 12:30 in the center. Now we're going to go into common gratitude. We'll give it 2 minutes and then we'll sing a song. From Rav's words, at the end of the lesson, sit quietly and be grateful. Friends, let's sit down without moving, without making any noises. Let's have this inner concentration. At the end of the lesson, to sit quietly and be grateful. Grateful that we had such a beautiful lesson, and we tried as much as possible to be aimed at you. And now we are coming out of the meeting between us, and you will keep us connected on top of all the life's occurrences that we'll surely absorb now. 2 minutes of gratitude.
תודה ויום טוב, ועכשיו נשיר.
הרמוניה, סימנים של זריחה לקראת הטוב. הרמוניה, גלים מתמזגים על קו החוף.
הרמוניה, אנחנו כמו קליפים על הפסנתר, שחורים ולבנים
שבר, לבבות מתחברים בישראל. הרמוניה זה כולנו יחד, לצמוח ולגדול בלי פחד. הרמוניה זה אתה ואני, שיוצרים את מנגינת החיים. הרמוניה זה כולנו יחד, לצמוח ולגדול בלי פחד. הרמוניה זה אתה ואני, שיוצרים את מנגינת החיים. הרמוניה זה כולנו יחד, לצמוח